the rest of my questions here. How long have you been
Cool.
streaming for?
I have been streaming off and on for about 4 years now, actually.
Okay. Was all of it on Mixer? Some of it on Twitch? What's the breakdown there?
I've been about 2 years, both sites actually. 2 years on Mixer, which was Beam originally, and
Okay.
I actually moved over. I actually moved over to Beam from Twitch because I thought it was really cool, and I was co-streaming for a little while, so I was kind of like on both sites for a little bit.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So when did you make the switch over to Mixer like full time then? Assuming that is
Uh,
what you're doing now.
Full time. Let's see. Full time for Beam was I was still Beam at the time, and um I want to say October, which was like a month after me becoming partner.
Okay.
I moved over and put all my efforts straight into Beam.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So how long did it take you to? Yeah, you say October. So how long did it take you from when you started on Beam to become a partner?
When I started on Beam, it was alpha, and it didn't have any partners yet. Like
Okay.
they had like partners, quote unquote, but they didn't have like
Yeah. Yeah.
partners. So they were making partners and everything like that. But then the unfortunate part was I started with Beam, and then I continued my Twitch stream because I already had a community there,
Hmm.
and then I actually moved over and started actually streaming full time on Beam. I
Okay.
want to say April of that year, and then it took me about 4 months to get to April, May, June,
Okay.
July, August. So five months.
How many like average viewers and stuff did you have at the time whenever you started on Beam? Even though
When I
they didn't
started
have
on
a
Beam,
partner.
I actually moved over with my community. It was really easy,
Okay.
and the big thing was I actually worked with the Crusade group, which is another partner stream group. It's they actually are doing it right now. I'm part of them as an administrator. What we do is we help streamers to understand what streaming is and
Okay.
improve their streams. So I was part of the second class,
Okay.
and that was when they started that. I moved over with them, and that was when I moved over in April. And when that happened, I was basically already integrated into the system. So I
Yeah.
had probably about 20 to 30 starting off.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. So you say we? Are you now part of that group also?
I am. I'm actually an administrator of it. So
Okay.
I actually work with the streamers that are in the group. Like we just started another class. We're in week 4 of the next class,
Okay.
and we work with them to like understand streaming. So lighting, texture,
Okay.
what content you use, and the big thing that we're covering like this week, because the big thing that is going on right now with the DMCA like
Hmm.
banning, as you see a lot of people on Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're working with them now to understand what copyright laws are,
Okay.
what you can and can't use, and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool though. How long does the average class last?
About 12 weeks.
12 weeks. Jesus. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
That's
a
time
commitment,
commitment,
man.
man. Yeah, for
It,
sure.
it it is a commitment, but you know what? Like, we've produced 2 partners almost every class.
That's
I was the
crazy.
first partner from the classes, and whenever we produce a partner, obviously
Mhm.
it's a lot of support and it's a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
love, but the big thing is that it continues to be a running success every single time that we do it. So
Okay.
it's just runs back.
That's really cool though. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the meat of it. Give us like a little summary of the story of your streaming. So like what inspired you to stream? Um I'll start with there. What inspired you to start streaming?
Well, the funny thing was, there's 2 things that inspired me to start streaming. The first one was I fell into streaming because I really liked watching a gentleman called Elohim.
Okay.
He's a Twitch streamer. He's a Twitch partner, and I fell into him. I don't remember exactly how I fell into him. I think I was watching Hearthstone, and he was a really big
Mhm.
Hearthstone streamer,
Okay.
and I really liked Hearthstone. So
Yeah.
like I ended up looking up streamers, and he was the biggest one that day. So I fell into that stream, and he has
Okay.
like this like very central community and very funny humor, and very adult humor, obviously. um talking about boobs and butts and stuff like that,
Hey.
obviously. But
Yeah.
he like one day said something that was just like super inspirational,
Okay.
and I said to myself, I'm like, I'm gonna probably try and dive into it. I'm like, I want to try
Yeah.
it. So I ordered like a PC and all
Mhm.
that stuff.
What'd
The
you start
second
on? What was your
what's up?
hardware? What
Oh, my
like a
hardware
hard?
was
Yeah. Yeah.
760 i3. Uh, I actually literally had 2 like mini fans on each side of the computer just to keep it
Uh-huh.
cool. I'm not even kidding. Like water cooling was not a thing for me.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and it was my baby. Like I came in
Yeah.
and I'm not even kidding you. Like the girl that I was with at the time, is saw the computer come in, and she's like, "Oh, good, it's here. That's really cool." And I'm like, I picked it up. I go, "How could you say this is just cool? This is so beautiful." Like I had like a meltdown. I was so happy. But the funny thing was, I got the PC and I had to go to work at like 20 minutes after the PC showed up. So she's like, "Don't worry,
Yeah.
I'll set it up and we'll be here." And I got home and she's like, she's literally like head first into playing games, and I'm just like, "Yo, like, what up?" So, the other reason I actually started streaming was because I really wanted time to play video games, and I felt like it was always like a. This is gonna sound really funny. I always felt like it was like a burden to like stream, or no, sorry, to play games. Like whenever you go like, oh, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, well, I'm gonna go play a game now, instead of like spend time with your girlfriend. But if you say something like, well, I'm gonna go stream, it sounds so professional. It sounds so professional. It sounds like you're like doing something for like it. So like, yeah, I'm gonna go stream now. And she's like, "Oh, you're going to play video games?" I go, no, honey, it's streaming.
It's
bought streaming. That? Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I was like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Awesome, it's different. Okay. It's completely different.
Yeah, so you mentioned them. Are there any other people that you would say are your streaming inspirations? Like people that, like, obviously that got you into streaming, but who is your inspiration for your style, for your theme here?
Oh, 100%
personal brand.
Like 100% what got me into streaming was Elohim. Co-Carnage is a big one too. I really love the like just I love their style of streaming. I love co-streaming because it was everybody was so like friendly. Like he was just like, he wouldn't say son of a bitch. He'd be like, you son of a bebop and stuff like that, like it was such like a friendly stream, and he was so nice all the time. And then Elohim was like, they're really good buddies, but Elohim was like, oh, dicks and vaginas, like all the time. And and I was just like sitting there, I was just like, this is so funny. He was so funny. And Co played games to beat them and to like excel at them. Elohim played games to entertain people. Like he didn't care if he beat the game. But if he got 1,000 laughs out of it, then that he accomplished it. And I feel like that's kind of like how my stream is. Like the people know that I'm either decent at a game or I suck balls. Like I do. Sometimes I suck horribly. And I say decent because like I can like knock out like a 30. Shut up, Floppin. I can knock out like a 30 kill game in CS:GO. Or I could be like bottom of the barrel, -1 because I killed my teammates so many times, kind of thing like that. So I've actually been. You could actually ask people. I've actually been banned from CS:GO for 24 hours because I've killed my teammates too many times.
Do you find it harder to find an audience whenever you're performing badly at a game? Because I know there are two different types of streams, the entertainment and the good one. Do you find people leave whenever you're doing bad, or do you feel like you've cultivated your brand enough at this point to where you can power through it?
I feel like, honestly, I feel like people know what they get when they come to the stream. If they don't, they realize it very, very quickly. Everyone has their salty days. So like sometimes I'll be in like I'm a big my big thing about my brand is what I stream is going to be esports and indie games. And I was originally just an esports streamer, like big CS:GO, big like not League of Legends, sorry, big Heroes of the Storm streamer, and that was like what I was going to do. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then one day I actually fell into a indie game called Hurt World. I fell into it. Like it was like, yeah, it was one of those indie games where
who
it was
made
like a survival
that? Do you know?
game.
I've never heard of that one.
I forget who it's made by. I think I got Steam open.
Okay. You don't have to. You can move on.
Okay, so like,
I'm really interested to see how else you fell into indie games and how you got that working on like Mixer, because I know especially on Mixer, indie games can be a little more challenging.
Oh, there you go, Floppin. Bankroll Studios makes Hurt World, so we're playing that, and that's actually how I met Flop. How I met Floppin too was who's my I was just enjoying it. I'm like, this is fantastic. I absolutely love this game, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it right now. So we're playing it, and I'm like, this is an esports, but people are coming in and they're still enjoying the game. They're
Yeah.
enjoying, what's happening with it, and they're enjoying the idea that I'm actually like enjoying it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm laughing and I'm making jokes and I'm sitting on people's faces. I'm not joking. I'm actually sitting on people's faces the whole time and like building weird structures and making inappropriate jokes the whole time. And then I actually met someone in the game that was making the same type of jokes I was. So we're sitting there like connecting and making lewd humor the whole time. And like
Yeah.
this is something I want to do with everything.
Okay.
The fun thing about indie games that I really enjoy is some of them are really good, and then some of them are so horrible that they're good to stream because
Okay.
they're just they're just fun. Like they're just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're like, what in the world is this? Like we played an indie game. I forget the name of it right now. There's so many of them, but there's one there. There's gum on the floor, and he's like, it's too sticky or something like that. There's this line that is just, it's so hilarious, and you're just sitting there, you keep clicking it, and it gets funnier as it goes along because he says the same line. It's like, it's too sticky, it's stuck to the floor, it's stuck to the floor, and you're
Yeah.
just like, the way he says it, and you're just laughing the whole freaking time,
Huh,
and I just
okay.
love that. Or
Yeah,
we
because
played
it's probably
yeah,
like some guy in his basement, just recording those voice lines, or maybe he found a neighbor that had a good voice that he liked, and that's what he does.
exactly. And we're
Yeah.
sitting there and we're like laughing the heck out of us. And we just played Hand Simulator the other week. We were streaming for Mixer for the kids. And we
Yeah.
played Hand Simulator, and it was suggested by Floppin. And let me tell you, that game is the funniest thing I've ever played in my life. Like ever. Like we're sitting there trying to like grab things and
Yeah.
smacking around things, and it just I was dying for the whole time. So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I fell into indie games, and ever since then
Yeah.
I love indie games so much
How
that
do
I
you
maybe
how do you
started.
change up your stream to be for the kids? You said Hand Simulator for the kids. Is that game sounds like it would get real lewd
well
real fast.
well here's the thing too, and I always check with the whenever I do a charity stream or whenever I
Hmm.
do something for an event. I make sure that I like when you saw when I was talking to you, I make sure I clarify everything before
Okay.
I start up, because I want to know what I can and can't do. I want to know what I have to do, and I want to know what I have to fill in my mods for, because
Right. Right.
I want everyone to know that this is what we're doing. There's nothing to fill in the mods, then it's just going to be a normal time.
Okay.
But if it's like the mixer for the kids was just don't show nudity, like just don't show like don't
Yeah. Yeah.
so they're like, anything else, go at it. So we're like, okay,
All
so
right.
we're
All
doing
right.
mixer for the kids, and yeah, we're getting donations and we're getting laughs and we're
For the
enjoying the
for the
heck out of this.
kids.
Exactly, we're doing
That's
it, we're
cool.
doing it for the kids.
For the kids. Yeah. No, that's cool. So you say you do stream a lot of indie games. What is your relationship like with indie developers? Because I know that indie developers trying to get their games played, Mixer is a big back and forth. How do you say you go about maintaining those relationships and getting in contact with those people for games?
The big thing that I do, I mean, I use all the main sites like Keymailer or terminals, like to
Yeah.
do that. The big thing that you have to do when you stream indie games, you have to develop relationships. So you can't
For
just
sure.
contact people to be like, hey, give me a key, I want to stream your game. You have to be like, hey, let me talk to you about your game a little bit. Let me see what's going on with it. Give me a little idea. Let me see if it fits with what I want to do. Because I can't say that I want to play every indie game. I love indie games,
Hmm.
but I can't say like the point and click games I'm good at. I don't enjoy them much. So if someone says point and click game, I look at it, and if it's something that I think is humorous, I'd probably play it. But otherwise, I'd be like, listen, like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I almost fall
Yeah.
asleep during these games, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to waste your time. So thank you so much for the opportunity. But, you know,
Yeah. Fair enough.
the other thing is whenever you're done with the stream and it has the indie game in it, I always link the actual gameplay to it, and I link it
Mhm.
to the actual indie developer so they can take whatever they want from it. And I give them full rights. They can, snip it. They can take it for whatever they want. They can take
Yeah.
parts of
Yeah.
it. I give them full rights that they can take it. And I also tell them if they want me to, I will snip it from my stream myself, load it onto a YouTube, give it a proper, rating, a proper exam, and let them link it from there. So
Okay. That's cool. All right, so let's move on to talk about your brand a little bit. You seem to have established a tavern theme, just a shot in the dark here,
yeah,
based
a,
on
a
what's
little
back.
bit.
Had you stumble into House Tavern? What was the genesis of that?
Well, this is a story here. Okay, so
All right, let's go for it.
I we were never that we were all never the tavern to begin with. When
Okay.
I started on Twitch, I'm obsessed with Star Wars. Like I
Mm.
love Star Wars.
An internet
So when we
person obsessed with Star Wars? What?
I know, right?
What?
What the hell? A nerd obsessed with Star Wars? What's going on here? So I started it, and when I started streaming, everyone has a theme, priests. When I started, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and think about this, and everyone has a theme, everyone has
Mhm.
something that's going on. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, so streaming, everyone thinks about their streaming, and they go, okay, everyone must have a theme for some reason.
yeah.
So I was thinking about, I'm like, okay, what can I do that I love that I can continue to do and enjoy? So I came up with what I called the troopers, because obviously,
Mm.
copyright laws and everything like that, you can't be
I thought you just
stormtroopers.
rolled right into beer from that. What do I love? Oh, beer.
No,
Hey.
I love alcohol. Let's
Yeah,
go.
weird.
Um, yeah. So like I had a actual stormtrooper mask that you could
Okay.
like flip on your face. So every single time I got a follow, I would put the stormtrooper mask on and be like, "Hey, thank you so much. Welcome to the troopers."
Yeah, yeah.
And I call them the troopers, and I made everything Star Wars theme.
Okay.
Um, One day I got a really really bad email that said I was using a name that was associated with Disney brand,
Yeah,
and
I could
that
see that happening. I was gonna ask, but you're rolling into it, so go for it.
yeah. So basically, what they said was if I didn't cease and desist, I was going to have to grab my ankles and hold on for the ride. So
Hmm. I got one of those
um,
from Mixer last week because of the Twitter account, so I get it.
oh yeah, definitely, oh yeah. So yeah, it was a fight for a bit. So I was like, you know what? Instead of having the troopers the whole time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rebrand, and I didn't make it. This is kind of like one of the first times, as you see by Chad. This is one of the first times I'm talking about it publicly,
Oh,
um, because I kind of kept it under wraps. I called it a rebrand,
uh-huh.
um, which was a nice way of saying, well, I got to change my theme.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was sitting there, and I was really wondering, and I was pondering, and I was sitting there, I was like, okay, I want something that's community friendly. I want something that is like people feel like they can come and enjoy themselves. And I was sitting there and thinking about it for a little while, and I was like, I'm gonna make a bar. I'm like, where do you go after work that you want to give your troubles away? Where do you go like when you want to relax and everything like that? I'm
Hmm.
like, make a bar.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
And so like for a little while, I was working with an artist, and her name's Queen of Art, and she's a mixer streamer. She came over here with me from Twitch,
I know her.
and
She's gonna be an interview in the next 2 weeks, so
she's
good
she's
place.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
She's
she's
a
great.
gigantic sweetheart. Absolutely love her. So she's working with me, and she's her and I've been like really good friends for a very long time.
Mm,
And I tell her, I go, I'm looking for a theme. I'm thinking I'm gonna do like something like, House Bar or something like that. And so she's working on concepts for it. And like I think like a day or two later, I don't remember if I was discussing it with somebody. I think maybe discussing it with Floppin and discussing it with the mod team. And I
mm.
go, a tavern. Like it has to be a tavern. Like it has to be, because it something like a theme, because a bar is like a bar, but a tavern's like, oh, you hear all the people singing like all the fun songs in the
Yeah.
background of the tavern, and
This
you
immediately
hear
makes you
all
think of Lord of the Rings and yeah, all those
yeah yeah
all that stuff.
exactly. So like a thing. So I pitched it to Queen as well, and Queen's like, I love it. So she made
Mm.
she made all my logo, and she made my graphics for it, and it took off. It really did. Like it was a great theme, honestly,
Yeah.
and people love it. So House Tavern is something that I love and enjoy, and it has a really wide theme, so you could kind of do everything that you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. So, what would you have on tap at the tavern? I'm assuming your goal is to make a physical house tavern. I'm not gonna ask, just assume you want something like that in the future. What are you
Oh, I
running
would
on tap?
love to. Oh my god. Let's see here. Well, I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to beers. Like I like Blue Moon, and like I like Angry Orchard, but I also really like Guinness, to be honest. I
I'm
like
right there with you.
right. I'm
Hoppy
like
shit, get out of here.
yeah. I like Guinness and like Angry Orchard mixed together. They call it like a Mad Apple, and I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that
Oh my
sounds good.
god.
I need to try that. So you just have a tap that just combines those together, just shoots them out.
Right.
Interesting. That's cool.
I love it. Let's do that.
Yeah. All right, switching gears a little bit. What is the biggest? Okay, we'll do this in two parts. First part, what is the biggest challenge that you faced on a streaming side to like blocking your streaming life? Something that you had to overcome. And so basically, what I'm asking, and I asked this to someone else too, but I really like the question, is what is the closest you've ever come to quitting?
I was homeless for a little while. So
Okay.
well, the same girl that I was dating at the time, when I started my streaming,
This took a
um
turn I did not expect, but keep on going, please.
yeah, yeah. So we had a very rough falling out,
Hmm.
and there was things that were done, to me, like, let's just say things you don't do in a relationship,
Yeah, you
to
don't
the
have to
other
get too
person that you
far
care
into
about.
it.
Exactly. Just to make this civil.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so basically my stuff was outside the door when I got home, even
Hmm.
though I was the one that was trying to make things right in the relationship.
Hmm.
She went ballistic and tossed everything outside. So I was living out of my car for a few months, and
Okay.
because I couldn't unfortunately afford a down payment on a home or a down payment on an apartment.
Yeah.
Um, so I would go to the beach and shower, and I would wash my clothes there and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Or I would like go to random apartment complexes that had like the laundry rooms,
Hmm.
and throw my clothes in there, and like go outside and like hang out. And I would like watch Twitch on my phone and stuff like that. It was fun. It was really funny. I like to watch my the streamers on the phone and stuff like that. So I was always
Yeah.
like entertained. But yeah, it was tough. And I hated it because I was starting to really grow.
Hmm.
I had a good following at the time, and it was tough. I feel like all it sounds so stupid, but I feel like all the problems that I've had with streaming was mostly related to exes.
Okay.
And so like that was the homeless part, and then I just
Yeah.
went through one about a year and a half ago,
Okay.
where I was just building steam and doing really well, and had the highest number of subscribers, highest number of followers I ever had in my life.
Hmm.
And me and the ex-girlfriend broke up, and then we had to split ways, and I couldn't stream for like 2.5 3 months. So it kind of lost all your momentum, and it was
Yeah.
like
Jeez.
it was like yeah, it was like kind of like when you sit on a whoopee cushion and then you have no more sound, just like that.
Okay.
Like
Man.
just like
Have you
done.
have you considered being gay? Maybe it's a better option for not getting all your stuff thrown out. I don't know. Maybe not.
I know, right?
Maybe the same way. Um. So yeah, that must have been super deflating. How do you find your motivation to keep coming back after that if you're just getting repeatedly hit in the face over and over by women?
I love it. I love it. Honestly, yeah, I know, get completely smacked. I love it. I love doing it.
Okay.
I absolutely love. Honestly, I tell my moderators often that like I I feel weird when I don't stream. Like when I have my days off, I feel
Mm.
weird. Like I feel like I've missed something.
Okay.
Um, like I love the idea to come home and hang out with people that aren't just moderators or viewers, are friends to me. Like I know
Yeah.
them. I know their personal life. I
Okay.
know what's going on. I know like I know their intimate feelings towards certain things. Like
Yeah.
it builds a greater bond than
Mm.
what you can actually see on screen.
Okay. And then, so when you say you love it, that's probably what you love most about it. Then I was
Yeah.
gonna
Oh
follow up with
yeah.
that.
The personal connections with everything is something that I would never know. Like I have like CB, who has been a moderator for me for probably 5 months now.
Yeah.
She's halfway across the world, or I should say all the way across the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, so the idea that I can connect with her on a personal level, um without ever actually physically seeing her, but actually having an actual friendship and enjoying it with each
Yeah.
other, and knowing what's going on, is just something that I would never ever think about in my life.
Yeah. Power of the internet, man. So you talked
Yeah.
about your moderator being halfway across the world. I know what your schedule is. Can you explain your schedule a little bit and how and why you stumbled into the streaming schedule that you did?
Well, I used to stream at 10 a.m. or like 9:30 in the morning. I used to do that pretty much every day. And then I switched to 1 a.m. because I work in the restaurant industry.
Mm.
And by the time you get out, it's usually like 12:30 at night. And 1 a.m. was kind of like one of those things where I can almost always keep like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I can almost always keep that time.
Yeah.
And so it worked out. It worked out where since that time just worked out, I switched over to it, which was tough at the beginning, but it started to make its own audience and everything. And
Okay.
I would, if I could, which I'm trying to, I would love to go 1 a.m. and stream for like 3 or 4 hours, and then go to bed for a few hours, and then wake up at like 9, and then stream
Yeah.
from like 9 to like 11 or 9 to 12, and this
Okay.
way like you have like a nighttime and a morning time stream.
Yeah.
Right now it's not feasible because that sleep thing that everyone keeps talking about is wonderful.
Overrated. Gotcha. So I guess you don't still work in addition to streams. Is streaming your full-time job at this point, or do you still have a restaurant and do work as well?
Oh, I still work. I still work full time. Actually, I work. I stream probably about 30 to 40 hours a week, and I work. I work about 50 to 60 hours a week.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a schedule. So yeah, how much? So you answered that one. How much time do you spend outside of streaming working on your stream, and then how much time do you spend in other people's streams? So two-parter.
I would say outside of stream, I'd say about 30 minutes before every stream, I'm sitting down getting stuff ready. And then after stream, I'm usually talking about things with moderators or writing things down or fixing things up.
Yeah.
I would say on average probably about 10 to 12 hours a week, making sure things are together. And then in other people's streams, as much as I can, honestly. Pretty much it's pretty much my main entertainment source now, because I do love it. So I would say if I am watching something, it's normally a stream or somebody or something, or I'm talking with somebody. So
yeah. All right, cool. So I noticed on your channel that you have a lot of sub-specific perks, like play games as subs and sub nights. How do you find a balance between making subscribers feel special and then also making viewers that aren't subscribers feel included as well? What things do you do that?
The big thing is I'm always open to playing with anybody. I make that very obvious or very predominant whenever somebody comes into the channel. Any game that I'm playing, anyone's more than welcome to hop into if it's a multiplayer game and I'm playing multiplayer. I do it all the time. I do it with people that are subbed or not subbed. It just happens. The big thing that the sub perks is, it's a give back. It's like a thank you so much for supporting what I want as a dream. And you have those special days that subs are it's dedicated to, which actually we're starting now. It was something that's in the concept and it's been like changed so many times, but it's called happy hour streams, where their subscribers get to pick music and games and get to kind of choose everything that goes on. They also get
it could be a nightmare, but it also could be really cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. It could be. It's probably gonna be like it could be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And they're gonna scare the daylights out of me too. But especially like flopping with his choice of music towards me. Thursday nights are gonna come back to community nights. I love community nights. We started back on Twitch a couple years ago. Community nights are literally games that all the community can talk or can play. And we usually play Jackbox, and we play Deceit, and we play stuff like that. And it's been kind of lacking in the last few weeks because it's been a tough schedule. But this Thursday will be the first return back into community nights, with a lot of really fun perks to it too. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen. But the big thing about community nights is that it's free. It's free games. It's games that everybody has that anyone can play. So
yeah, that's a good way to do that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, how'd you come up with those perks? Just looking at other people's channels, a little bit of creativity.
Well, I mean, a little mix of both. Honestly, I've obviously everyone has like a sub day. It just happens. It's just it really is kind of part of streaming. But also kind of what the things that I would want. Like if I was subscribed to a channel and which I'm subscribed to a few channels of my favorite streamers. But if I really like, it's almost like, what would I want to do with a friend is kind of what the sub perks are. What would I find fun with a friend, or what would I enjoy doing with a friend that we would do together? And that's kind of what the sub perks would be. So I would love to like watch a movie or enjoy a show with a friend. I would love to play games with a friend. I would love to have a personal connection with that friend as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Cool. All right, we'll start to wrap up here because I feel like I'm taking up enough of your time, especially if you stream overnight. You must be pretty tired. But here's one of the harder questions I've asked before. Rate yourself and your stream, not yourself, not your looks. Rate your stream. I mean, you
I
look
was
number one.
just I was gonna say it's like a 5 out of 10. The beard's growing and stuff. So
Yeah, rate your stream and set up on a scale of 1 to 10, and then talk about what you would like to improve about yourself as a streamer. It's a
CB's
little
coming.
hard. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so rate my stream from 1 to 10. Rate the stream in 10.
Yeah, try to be
from
honest as
1 to 10.
possible.
And then what was the second part? I'm sorry.
Oh, and then what would you like to improve about it? Like, what are things you could try to improve in the future?
I would say at this point, everything's still evolving for the stream.
Okay.
I feel like there's been a lot of time put into it, but I feel like there's something that needs to be done with the stream to take it to the next level.
Okay.
And I feel like once it's at that next level where it's I feel like 10 out of 10 is livable. Like 10 out of 10 is something that you do full time.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's something that is your main focus, your main job. So I'm not 10 out of 10. I would say I'm saying the stream and everything is probably rating on its progress and not in its community, because the community is 10 out of 10. The community is amazing. But I would say
it's like 2 out of 10.
Oh my god. 3 out of 10 when they talk about boobs.
Yeah.
But I would say community is 10 out of 10, but the stream is probably 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It definitely probably 6 or 7 out of 10. It definitely needs work on its videos, on its playbacks, on its graphics. It needs to make sure it's congruent. And it's something that I know that needs to be done, but it has not been done.
Yeah.
It has a lot of the funny thing is it has a lot of ideas that have like ... at the end.
Okay.
That are great. They're great ideas and are awesome. That just needs to be executed properly.
Gotcha. So you're saying you need to sex it up a little bit and then just get things up. Okay. Actually, it seems like it's sexed enough, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think so. I do. I definitely think it needs to be. I definitely needs. I definitely need to make sure that all the ideas that has given me, because honestly, I continue to say it, but I have the best moderation on Mixer. Like I really do. I have people. They're not just the moderation; they're friends, and the idea that they care so much about what's going on. Is ridiculous.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, I've noticed some of that just from this chat here. They seem like a good time. If you know, a little too rowdy.
They're phenomenal. The idea that I have such a deep friendship with all of them is just something I never imagined. But the idea that I'll say something and they'll bring me to reality is someone you need. And that's it's something hard to find in somebody like that. So, so the idea that we've been talking about a lot of things to do, and the big thing is I need to execute them is the thing that's holding a little bit back. So, what was the last part of the question? I'm sorry, I ran.
No, that was it. You got it. What would you need to improve? So you pretty much answered that there. Okay, so then 2 more. One I just kind of came up with here. What would you name your beer? You've got a beer that's branded and named after your whole setup here, themed after you in the tavern. What would you call it?
What would I name my beard?
Beer, or beard. You can do both.
Oh, it said beard. Oh. I thought you said beard. I'm like, what would I name my beard? I would name my beard Down Under because it's always looking at you. Let's see. What would I name my beer?
I should have just sprung this on you.
Damn. What would I name my beer? I would name my beard. I would name my beer. I thought you said beer too, right? I would name my beer. Let's go Hal's Juice because it goes down smooth and always leaves you satisfied.
Okay, great. No questions needed there. It works out perfect. All right, last fun one to follow up. Generally steal these from the internet, but that's okay. How would you hide a draft from the government?
How would you hide a draft from the government?
How would you hide a draft from the government? Very serious question. I actually need to know this answer in about 20 minutes, so let's hurry it up.
How would you hide a giraffe from a government? Wow, that's an interesting question. Whoa. Wow, how do you hide a giraffe from the government? Um, I would hollow out a really big tree and shove it in.
Okay, all right, a giant tree with a giraffe in it. That works. Yeah, people in the chat are figuring out where I got my questions from. I thought it was obvious that I stole those from the internet, but that's okay. Anyway, awesome. Not going to take up any more of your time here. Thank you very much for coming on. Really great to have you, man.
Great
Is
to
there
be here.
anything else you want to plug or shout out before we shut down?
No, I mean it's been a fantastic time, man. I really enjoyed it. The Mixer Squad, I'm very happy to be a part of that, and very happy to be here.
So glad to have you, man.
Obviously, check it out at 1 a.m. Eastern time, except for
Yeah,
Mondays and Fridays.
for sure, man. Again, awesome. Yeah, thanks a whole bunch. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Thank you everybody that hung out too, and all of his wonderful mods. I feel like I may have some more new friends here too by the end of all this.
Heck yeah.